One stolen necklace worth 300 million won. One crime boss who'll never let her go. Maya Okoro never believed in magic until the beautiful necklace she found in her mother's things burned her skin and refused to come off. Now, Kang Joon-ho claims she belongs to him, bound by 400 years of dark magic and darker promises. Before we dive into the story, dear viewers, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment for more thrilling dark romance stories like this. The tray tilted. Maya lunged for it, caught the edge, but 3 champagne flutes tumbled anyway. Glass exploded across the marble floor. Conversations stopped. Heads turned. "I'm so sorry, Maya's voice died as the room spun violently. Her knees gave out. Strong arms caught her mid-fall. The tray clattered away. Maya's vision tunneled, the crystal chandeliers bleeding into streaks of light. She felt herself being lifted, held against a chest that smelled like expensive cologne and danger. "I've got you." The voice was deep, controlled. Maya tried to focus on the face above her. Sharp features, dark eyes that weren't looking at her face at all. They were fixed on her throat, on the necklace. His expression changed. Recognition flashed across his features, followed by something darker, possessive, hungry. "Yongyol ui sasel," he whispered in Korean. "After all these years." Maya's head swam. "What?" "Clear the room." His voice cut through the ballroom like a blade. Now. People scattered. Maya heard shoes clicking against marble, urgent whispers, the rustle of panic. She tried to push away from him, but her arms wouldn't cooperate. The necklace felt impossibly heavy now, pressing against her throat like it was trying to drag her under. "Who are you?" Her words slurred. "Kang Joon-ho." He looked down at her, and Maya saw something in his eyes that made her breath catch. "And you're wearing something that belongs to my family." I found it in my mother's. Find out everything about this woman." Joon-ho's command cut across her explanation. Maya's vision was fading, but she saw 2 men in black suits step forward. "Where she lives, who she knows, how she got the necklace. I want answers in an hour." "Yes, sir. And call Dr. Lim. Have him meet us at the estate." Maya tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. The ballroom tilted sideways. The last thing she registered was Joon-ho's arms tightening around her, and his voice, softer now, almost concerned. "Don't fight it. Sleep." Then nothing. Maya woke to silk against her skin. Her eyes opened slowly, adjusting to soft morning light, filtering through floor-to-ceiling windows. She was lying in the largest bed she'd ever seen, covered in blankets that were so soft she didn't want to get up. The room around her was stunning. Traditional Korean architecture, mixed with modern luxury. Dark wood beams, paper screens, minimalist furniture that screamed wealth. This wasn't her apartment. This wasn't anywhere she'd ever been. Memory crashed back. The ballroom, the man, the necklace. Maya sat up too fast. Her head spun, but she forced herself upright, hands flying to her throat. The necklace was still there, warm against her skin. She grabbed the clasp, tried to open it. It wouldn't budge. She pulled harder. The metal suddenly burned hot, searing her fingers. Maya gasped and jerked her hands away. "I wouldn't do that if I were you." Maya's head whipped toward the voice. The man from yesterday stood in the doorway. He looked different in daylight, still dangerous, but somehow more real, more human. "What did you do to me?" Maya's voice came out hoarse. "Where am I?" "My home. The Kang estate." He stepped into the room, movements controlled and deliberate. "You've been unconscious for 6 hours. The doctor said you were severely dehydrated and exhausted. When did you last eat?" Maya ignored the question. "You kidnapped me." "I saved you." He moved to a side table, poured water from a crystal pitcher into a glass. There's a difference. You can't just take people. I can do whatever is necessary to protect what belongs to my family. He held out the water. Drink. You need it. Maya's throat was dry, but she didn't move. I don't want anything from you. I want to go home. Home? Joon-ho set the glass down on the nightstand beside her. The studio apartment in Nampo-dong, the one with 3 months of unpaid rent and an eviction notice posted on your door. Maya's stomach dropped. How do you? Or perhaps you mean Sweet Haven Bakery on Gwangbok Street, your mother's shop, the one that's 60 million won in debt, with foreclosure proceedings starting next week. The words hit like physical blows. Maya's hands clenched in the silk sheets. You had no right to. I had every right the moment you put on that necklace. His voice was matter of fact, not cruel, just absolute. My people are very thorough, Maya Okoro. 26 years old, only child. You and your mother came here from Nigeria when you were 13. She died 8 months ago from cancer. Culinary school dropout, no living relatives, no close friends, no one who will even notice you're missing. Tears burned Maya's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. What do you want from me? I want to know how you got the necklace. He sat on the edge of the bed, close enough that Maya could see flecks of gold in his dark eyes. That necklace was stolen from my family 10 years ago. 3 people died trying to recover it. And now it appears around the throat of a struggling caterer who has no idea what she's wearing. I told you. I found it in my mother's belongings after she died. There was no note, no explanation, just the necklace and an old receipt from a pawn shop. Which pawn shop? I don't remember the name. Somewhere in Busan. The receipt was dated 10 years ago. Maya met his gaze. I needed money. I thought I could sell it, but when I put it on, she trailed off, not knowing how to explain. It felt right. Joon-ho finished softly, like it belonged. Maya's breath caught. How did you know? Because that's what it does. The Yongyol Yui Sasil has been in my family for 400 years. It was commissioned in 1624 for a bride, forged with old magic and older promises. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away, and touched the necklace with one finger. It chooses its wearers, and every woman who wore it married into the Kang family. That's just superstition. Is it? His eyes held hers. Then take it off. I tried. It burned me. Because you're not ready to release it yet. The chain doesn't accept refusal, Maya. Only truth. Only genuine choice. He stood, moving to the windows. You can't force it off. You can't cut it off. Women have tried. They died. Horror crawled up Maya's spine. What? The necklace protects itself, and it protects what it claims. Joon-ho turned back to face her. You're bound to it now, which means you're bound to me, to my family, to everything we are. Maya's hands moved protectively to the necklace. I don't want this. I don't want any of this. What you want stopped mattering the moment it recognized you. His voice was gentle but firm. I'm sorry. I know this isn't fair. But fair doesn't matter in my world. Only survival matters, and right now, 6 crime families control Busan. They'll all want it, want you. Then let them have it. Cut it off me. Give it to them. Let me go. I can't. Something flickered across his face. Pain, maybe, or regret. Even if I could remove it, which I can't. Giving you to them would be signing your death warrant. They'd torture you for information about how you got it. Who else knows about it? Then they'd kill you anyway. Maya felt the walls closing in. So, I'm your prisoner. You're under my protection. He moved toward the door. There's a difference. What difference? Joon-ho paused, his hand on the doorframe. A prisoner has no choices. You still have one. What choice? You just said I can't leave, can't remove the necklace, can't. You can accept it or reject it, eventually. His voice dropped lower, more dangerous. But Maya, the women who wore that necklace and tried to reject it, they all died screaming. The ones who accepted it lived long, powerful lives. The chain knows the difference between fear and truth. Maya's heart hammered against her ribs. And how am I supposed to know which is which? That's what you're here to learn. He looked back at her one last time. I'll have food sent up. Rest. We'll talk more tonight. The door closed behind him with a soft click. Maya stared at her reflection in the mirror across the room. In the morning light, the silver chain seemed to pulse against her skin, like it had its own heartbeat. Or maybe that was just hers, racing with terror she couldn't name. She touched the necklace with trembling fingers. It was warm, almost alive, and she had no idea if that made her its wearer or its prisoner. Maya didn't touch the food they brought. She was a prisoner, no matter what Joon-ho called it. Maya tried the door anyway, locked. The windows were beautiful, floor-to-ceiling panels overlooking manicured gardens, but reinforced. She could see the security cameras positioned at every corner of the estate. Men in dark suits patrolled the grounds below. There was no way out. She paced the room for an hour, testing every surface, every corner, looking for weaknesses. Nothing. The room was a gilded cage, perfect and inescapable. Her hand kept moving to the necklace. Each time, the metal felt warmer. Maya jerked her hand away and tried the door again. Still locked. She kicked it, immediately regretting it as pain shot through her foot. Damn it! She sank against the wall, fighting tears. Crying wouldn't help. Crying never helped. Her mother had taught her that. The hours crawled by. Maya watched the sun move across the sky, shadows lengthening across polished floors. She thought about her apartment, her mother's bakery, the life she'd had just yesterday, gone. All of it gone because she'd put on a necklace she found in a box. The door opened without warning. Joon-ho stood in the doorway, carrying a stack of leather-bound journals. He glanced at the untouched food, then at her position on the floor. You need to eat. I need to leave. Not yet. He stepped inside, setting the journals on the table. But you can learn. Maya pushed herself to her feet. Learn what? How to be a good prisoner. Learn that you're not the first. He gestured to the journals. These belong to women who wore the necklace before you. Read them. Understand what they went through, what they chose. I don't want to read about your other victims. They weren't victims. His jaw tightened. They were chosen, just like you. Chosen? Maya laughed bitterly. You keep saying that word like it means something. It does. Joon-ho moved toward the door. Start with the red one, Ji-woo. She was angry too, scared, convinced this was all insane. What happened to her? Read the journals, Maya, then decide if I'm lying. The door closed behind him, locked. Maya stared at the stack of journals, 10 of them, maybe more. Different colours, different ages, some leather cracked with time, others newer. She shouldn't read them, shouldn't give him the satisfaction. But curiosity gnawed at her. And what else was there to do? Maya grabbed the red journal and opened it. The handwriting was elegant, looping. A woman's hand. The first entry started mid-panic, words cramped and desperate. Maya skimmed the opening, her stomach clenching at the familiar fear bleeding through every line. Maya flipped pages faster, days of entries, weeks. The handwriting slowly changed, less frantic, more controlled. Then there were sketches in the margins, the estate gardens. Maya's fingers froze on a page near the end. Day 89. I said yes today. The entry was short, simple. But something about it made Maya's throat tight. She flipped to the next page. Nothing. The journal ended there. She grabbed another one. Older. The leather cracked. The handwriting was different. Sharper. Angular. This woman wrote in short, clipped sentences. Maya kept reading, flipping through days that turned into weeks. The sharp handwriting softened. The sentences grew longer, less certain. The journal ended on day 67. No explanation, just a final line. I understand now. Maya grabbed a third journal, then a fourth. Different women, different years, but the same pattern. Fear turning to confusion, turning to something else, something she couldn't name. Every journal ended the same way, with acceptance, except one. Maya found it at the bottom of the stack. The leather was water-stained, pages brittle. The handwriting was messy, deteriorating with each entry. Day 47. I choose rejection. I choose freedom. I choose. The entry ended mid-sentence. The next pages were blank, except for a single line in different handwriting. Haewon died on day 49. The chain killed her. Maya dropped the journal like it burned her. Her hands shook as she looked at the scattered books around her. 9 women who accepted, 1 who rejected, 1 who died. The door opened again. Joon-ho stood there with fresh food. His eyes went to the journals spread across the floor, then to Maya's face. You read them. Maya's voice came out harsh. She died. She couldn't be saved. Joon-ho set the tray down. The chain doesn't accept rejection, Maya. It accepts truth, or it accepts nothing. That's insane. Is it? You felt it burn when you tried to remove it. You feel it warming against your skin right now. He moved closer. It responds to intention, to honesty. Fight it with lies and it fights back. Maya's hand moved to the necklace. It was warm. Too warm. What do you want from me? I want you to survive. Joon-ho's voice was quiet. I want you to stop lying to yourself about what you feel, about what you want. I want to leave. Do you? His eyes held hers. Or do you want to understand why you can't? Maya's breath caught. She hated that the question made something twist in her chest, hated that she didn't have a simple answer. Eat, Joon-ho said, gesturing to the food. Tomorrow, I'm taking you out of this room. You'll see what my world really looks like, what you're part of now. I'm not part of anything. The chain says otherwise. He moved towards the door. And Maya, when I ask you tomorrow what you want, tell me the truth. The chain will know if you lie. The door closed. Maya stared at the journals scattered around her. 9 women who lived, 1 who died, all because of truth or lies. She picked up the red journal again, flipping to that final entry. Day 89. I said yes today. 4 words. That's all it took. Maya touched the necklace. It pulsed warm against her fingers, like a heartbeat that wasn't hers. She didn't know what scared her more, that it might kill her if she rejected it, or that part of her didn't want to reject it at all. Maya woke to someone shaking her shoulder. Get dressed. Joon-ho's voice cut through the fog of sleep. We're leaving in 10 minutes. She sat up, disoriented. Dawn light barely touched the windows. What? He left before she could argue. Maya dressed quickly, her heart hammering. This was it, a chance to see outside these walls, maybe find a way to escape. She pulled on the boots, fingers clumsy with adrenaline. The necklace felt heavier this morning. Or maybe that was just fear. Joon-ho was waiting in the hallway with 2 guards. He looked her over once, nodded, then started walking. Maya had no choice but to follow. They descended through the estate, traditional corridors giving way to modern security checkpoints, then into an underground garage. A black SUV waited, engine running. Get in. Maya climbed into the back seat. Joon-ho slid in beside her. The guards took the front. The car pulled out smoothly, climbing from the compound into pre-dawn Busan. Where are we going? The docks. Joon-ho's tone was matter-of-fact. There's a meeting this morning. The 6 families. You need to see what happens when the eternal chain resurfaces after 10 years. Maya's stomach twisted. I don't want to. I know. He looked at her directly, but ignorance won't protect you. Understanding might. The SUV stopped outside a massive building. Guards appeared immediately, opening doors, checking weapons. Joon-ho stepped out, and Maya followed on shaking legs. Inside, the warehouse had been converted into something between a boardroom and a throne room. A long table dominated the centre. Men in expensive suits already occupied most of the chairs. They all turned when Joon-ho entered. The air went cold. Kang, a man with silver hair and a Russian accent, spoke first. You brought her. She wears the eternal chain. Joon-ho's voice carried absolute authority. That makes her Kang family. She belongs here. She belongs dead. This from a younger man, Korean, with a scar bisecting his left eyebrow. The chain was stolen from you. Now some black caterer wears it? Insult. Maya's breath caught. Joon-ho's hand moved to the small of her back, steadying or claiming, she couldn't tell. Watch your mouth, Choi Min-jun. Joon-ho's voice dropped to something dangerous. The scarred man smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Just stating facts. She's a liability. Everyone in this room knows it. Then everyone in this room understands she's under my protection. Joon-ho pulled out a chair at the head of the table. Sit, Maya. She sat. She had no other choice. The meeting started. Maya barely followed the conversation. Territory disputes, shipment schedules, profit margins. But she felt every gaze that landed on her throat, on the necklace. Hungry gazes, calculating gazes. Then the doors burst open. 2 men dragged in a third, bloodied and beaten. They threw him to the floor at Joon-ho's feet. The man groaned, trying to crawl away. Found him in Sector 7, one of the guards said. Selling information about the chain to the Sinclair clan. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Joon-ho stood slowly, looking down at the bleeding man. Jung-soo, I gave you a job, a territory, protection. His voice was conversational, almost kind. And you betray me for what? Money? I didn't. I swear. Jung-soo's voice cracked. They threatened my family. I had no choice. There's always a choice. Joon-ho crouched down, eye level with the traitor. You chose money over loyalty. Chose strangers over family. Please, I have children. He pulled a gun from inside his jacket. Maya's heart stopped. Wait! The word escaped before she could stop it. Every head turned toward her. Joon-ho's expression was unreadable. Maya, don't. He has children. Her voice shook but held. He made a mistake. He's terrified, but killing him is necessary. Joon-ho's tone was patient but firm. If I show mercy, it's seen as weakness. Weakness gets people killed, gets you killed. Or maybe mercy shows strength. Maya stood, her legs trembling. Maybe it shows you're not afraid. The room was silent. The Russian man laughed once, sharp and disbelieving. The scarred man, Choi Min-jun, leaned forward with interest. Joon-ho's jaw tightened. He looked at Jung-soo, then at Maya, then back. You're asking me to spare him. I'm asking you to exile him, take everything, his territory, his protection, his position. But let him live. Let his children have a father, even a disgraced one. And when others see this mercy, when they think they can betray me without consequence, they'll see you're strong enough to choose. Maya's voice steadied, that you're not ruled by fear. The silence stretched. Maya could hear her own heartbeat, could feel the eternal chain warming against her throat. Everyone watched Joon-ho, waiting. He lowered the gun. "Exile," he said quietly. "You have 5 hours to leave Busan. If I ever see you again, there won't be a second chance. Understand?" Young-soo sobbed, nodding frantically. The guards dragged him away. Joon-ho turned to the room. "Anyone else want to test my mercy?" No one spoke. "Good. We're done here." He gestured to Maya. "Come." They walked back to the SUV in silence. Maya's hands shook so badly she could barely open the door. Once inside, once the car started moving, she finally let out the breath she'd been holding. "That was stupid." Joon-ho's voice was cold. "Maybe. You undermined me in front of 5 families. You asked what I wanted. I told you the truth." Maya looked at him directly. "You said the chain knows when I lie. I wasn't lying." Something shifted in his expression. The coldness cracked, revealing something underneath. Surprise, maybe, or respect. "No," he said softly. "You weren't." They drove in silence for several minutes. Then Joon-ho spoke again, quieter now. "My ancestors' brides shaped this family as much as the men who led it. The eternal chain doesn't just choose a wife. It chooses a conscience." He looked at her. "Do you understand what that means?" "That I'm not just decoration. That you're dangerous." But he almost smiled, in the best possible way. The car climbed back into the hills. Maya watched the city fall away behind them, her mind racing. She'd just saved a man's life. She'd just influenced a crime boss in front of his associates, and the eternal chain felt lighter around her neck, like it approved. Back at the estate, Joon-ho led her not to her room, but to a different wing entirely. He opened a door to a study, walls lined with books, a desk covered in papers, windows overlooking gardens. "This was my mother's study," he said. "She was the last woman to wear the chain before it was stolen. She died when I was 19. Maya stepped inside carefully. The room smelled like jasmine and old books. What was she like? Strong, terrifying when she needed to be, kind when she could afford it. Joon-ho picked up a photograph from the desk, a beautiful woman in traditional dress, the eternal chain visible at her throat. "She ran half of this organization. My father led the men. She led the family." He set the photo down, turning to Maya. "That's what the chain does. It doesn't make you a prisoner or a trophy. It makes you an equal, a partner, someone who shares the burden of leadership." His voice dropped, "But only if you accept it, only if you choose truth over fear." Maya's throat tightened. "And if I'm not strong enough?" "You saved a man's life this morning in a room full of killers. You're stronger than you think." He moved closer. "The question isn't whether you're strong enough, Maya. It's whether you're brave enough to admit what you already know." "What do I already know?" "That the chain didn't trap you. It found you." His eyes held hers. "That part of you has been waiting for this, for belonging, for purpose, for something bigger than a failing bakery and an empty apartment." Maya wanted to argue, wanted to deny it, but the chain warmed against her skin, and she couldn't make the words come, because he was right, and that terrified her more than anything else. Maya spent the next 3 days in the study. Joon-ho didn't lock her in. She came on her own, drawn by the journals, the history. His mother's handwriting filled the margins of ledgers, notes about shipments, but also reminders to send flowers for funerals, money for struggling families, a crime boss's wife who remembered to be human. On the 4th morning, Joon-ho found her reading by the window. "You've been avoiding me." Maya looked up. He wore dark jeans and a simple shirt. Without the suits and guns, he looked younger, almost vulnerable. I've been thinking. About the truth. She set the journal down. You said the chain knows when I lie. Joon-ho stepped inside, closing the door. And I've been lying to myself. Maya's voice steadied, telling myself I'm trapped, that I have no choice, that this is happening against my will. What's the truth? Maya stood, facing him. The truth is I put this necklace on and it felt right. The truth is I'm terrified of my old life. The debt, the loneliness, the failure. The truth is... She swallowed hard. Part of me doesn't want to leave. The room went silent. Part of you. Joon-ho repeated softly. What about all of you? I don't know yet. Her hands trembled. Your world is violent and dark. People die. You almost killed a man. But I didn't. Because I asked you not to. Because the chain chose someone who would push back. She moved closer. Who would refuse to let you become just another monster? Something flickered in his eyes. Is that what I am? You're a man doing terrible things to protect people you love. Maya's voice softened. Joon-ho closed the distance between them. His hand touched her face, thumb brushing her cheek. The eternal chain pulsed warm. Maya thought about the journals, about her mother's last words. When the time comes, you'll understand. She understood now. I can try. The words barely whispered out. If you'll let me. Maya, I choose this. She covered his hand with hers. I choose you. I choose the chain. Not because I'm trapped or scared, but because I want to. Because it feels right. The eternal chain flared hot for one brief second, then settled. The weight Maya had carried for days suddenly lifted. The metal felt different, lighter, content, like it had been waiting for exactly those words. Joon-ho felt it too. His eyes widened, dropping to the necklace. It accepted you. I accepted it. Maya smiled through tears. There's a difference. He kissed her then. Soft at first, then deeper, like he'd been holding back and couldn't anymore. Maya melted into it, feeling the last of her resistance crumble. When they broke apart, Joon-ho rested his forehead against hers. You understand what this means. Accepting the chain makes you part of this family, part of everything, the violence, the danger, the enemies. I know. The other families will see you as a threat now, as legitimate, as powerful. I know that too. Maya touched the chain. It hummed contentedly. I'm not afraid anymore. You should be. But he smiled. They spent the evening together, not in the formal dining room, but in the kitchen. Joon-ho cooked, surprisingly domestic, while Maya watched. He told her stories about his mother, about growing up in this world, about the weight of the chain. She wore it for 30 years, he said, stirring soup. Never took it off. Said it was part of her, like breathing. Do you miss her? Every day. His voice was quiet. She died protecting me. We were ambushed. She put herself between me and the bullets. Maya's chest tightened. I'm sorry. The chain couldn't save her from that. It protects against betrayal, against rejection, against lies, but not against sacrifice. He looked at Maya. She chose to die. The chain honoured that choice. They ate in comfortable silence. Afterwards, Joon-ho took her hand. What happens now? She asked. Now you learn what it really means to wear the eternal chain, the business side, the family connections, the politics. He took her hand. And you decide how much you want to be involved. Some women stayed in the background. Others ran half the organisation. What do you want? I want you beside me, as much as you're willing to give. His thumb traced circles on her palm. But I won't force anything, Maya. You've made your choice about the chain. Everything else is up to you. Maya looked at their joined hands. The chain glowed faintly in the lantern light. I want to help. To be part of this. To... Joon-ho's phone buzzed violently. He answered immediately, voice sharp. What? Maya watched his expression change, calm to alert to something darker. When? A pause. How many? Another pause. Lock down the estate. Now. He ended the call, already standing, pulling Maya to her feet. What's wrong? The Volkovs. They're coming. Joon-ho's jaw clenched. They know you accepted the chain. They know what that means. Gunfire cracked in the distance. Maya's heart slammed against her ribs. What do they want? You. The chain. Its secrets, its power, its legitimacy. Joon-ho moved faster. They want to break you. Take it. Use it against my family. They reached the main house. Guards ran past, weapons drawn. Joon-ho pulled Maya into a side corridor toward a reinforced door. An explosion rocked the building. Windows shattered. Alarms screamed. Joon-ho shoved Maya against the wall, covering her with his body as debris rained down. When the dust cleared, he pulled a gun from inside his jacket. Stay behind me. Don't leave my sight. They moved through smoke-filled hallways. Maya heard shouting in Russian. More gunfire. The sound of fighting. The eternal chain burned hot against her throat. Not painful, but urgent. Warning. Joon-ho's guards appeared, forming a protective circle. They moved as a unit. Maya trapped in the centre, her heart hammered. This was real. This was the cost of accepting the chain. They rounded a corner. 3 men in tactical gear blocked their path, weapons raised. Joon-ho fired first. His guards returned fire. The corridor exploded into chaos. Maya pressed against the wall, the chain burning hotter, power surging through it like electricity. One of the attackers broke through, grabbed Maya's arm. The chain flared white hot. The man screamed, hand blistering where he touched it. He stumbled back. Joon-ho shot him twice. More footsteps thundered from behind. Joon-ho grabbed Maya, pulling her through a hidden panel in the wall. They plunged into darkness, running blind down a narrow passage. They burst out of the passage into an underground garage. An SUV waited, engine running. Joon-ho shoved Maya into the back seat, climbed in after her. Drive, he barked. The vehicle peeled out as bullets sparked off the reinforced exterior. Maya couldn't stop shaking. Joon-ho pulled her against him, one arm around her shoulders, the other holding his gun ready. I'm sorry, he said quietly. This is what I meant. This is the cost. I know. Maya's voice was steadier than she felt. I chose this. I'm not backing out now. The chain pulsed warm, approving. Joon-ho looked down at her, and despite the chaos, despite the danger, he almost smiled. You're exactly what this family needed. What's that? Someone too stubborn to run when things get hard. He pressed a kiss to her forehead. Someone brave enough to stay. The SUV raced through Busan's night streets. Behind them, the estate burned. Ahead, Maya had no idea what waited, but she was done running, done lying to herself. The eternal chain had chosen her. She'd chosen it back. Whatever came next, they'd face it together. Thank you for staying till the end. Hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications because this story is just getting started. Drop your theories in the comments. Do you think Maya made the right choice? Let me know.